Yeah, welcome back to the, in my opinion, best level, or at least most uncanny and spookiest level in the whole game. So, let's find a sewer entrance. There should be one right next to my apartment. Alright, we have 6 points now, so we can seduce a little more, a little better. So, sewers, huh? That's awesome. Who doesn't want to go down the sewers where all the feces and the human waste is uh, stored? So we have a map here as well. You are here, 10, medical clinic, and there's at number 1 there's 2 Ocean House Hotel, an entrance. But to be honest, I rarely look at those maps here. I just go like by intuition. I just follow my female intuition. And it's not that big anyway. So the sewer rebels, there are also rats. Those are especially good for Nosferatu to feed on. Um, I think they even get more blood out of it than normal vampire, than the other clans. And the Ventrus cannot even feed on them, since they have a very special... in the pen and paper they actually do have a certain taste, acquired taste, like they only drink from rich people or from, I don't know, models or whatever. Always a very specific thing. Yeah, you cannot click on that LA map here. So look at this. I wanted to talk about the layout. A little. Sewer levels are always kind of creepy in most games. Like you have Resident Evil, and you also have Silent Hill, and I don't know, tons of games, and many of those survival horror and the likes, or anything horror, really likes to put in a sewer level. I mean, considering how often have you been in a sewer? I guess probably not that often, if you're not like, if it's not job related, right? But it's so common in the horror games. I mean, I think that's for a reason, because it's all, you have those narrow hallways and you have those mechanical things, and yeah, you can look very far. And just if you think from a very primal perspective, if there's a danger coming towards you, there's not much room to escape, right? You're kind of stuck there, more or less. And look how long the hallway is. That's, by the way, the door we need to go to. I mean, it's like, it's very ominous. It's uncanny and creepy, and it's like that door, that also with the red light right above it. It's kind of sends out the message of warning and danger, but also tells you right away that this is probably the place you're looking for. And combine that with the knowledge that you're about to meet a ghost. That might be very interesting, right? So this is, I don't know, maybe other people don't feel it that strong, but I always think this door really stood out for me, like the level of creepiness. And there's a gate, and it's locked, by the way, but you have a key, so you're kind of doing a forbidden thing there, right? You should not go there. This comes into place too, into play too, and yeah, what horror games also like to do is all that rust and metal thing. Silent Hill loves that. the other world, which is the creepy alternative nightmare version, always has lots of rust, and also the sound that engines and machinery creates, and it gets hard mm, to know which is actually a sound that the uh, environment is making, which is natural, if you will, or if there's something paranormal at play, something else there. So yeah, I don't know. I find this entrance it's very ominous and foreboding. So let's go in there. uh, Notice also how the music is different now, and it's all like dampened or quiet, like you're in cotton, like you're yeah. It's a very different atmosphere from one second to the next, and then you have that view here, this vista. Huge building. This is, by the way, long hallways and huge buildings. They create a contrast, and they make you feel small just by the nature of the building being way bigger. It kind of lets you know that you're just a small part of the world. And this is a hotel, so this is this has to have place for a lot of people. And there you have the uncanny part again. If you take something that used to be full of life, where lots of people were, and then suddenly it's emptied and abandoned. Abandoned buildings are always kind of creepy, right? So this is the shift from something very alive to being dead and rotten, right? That sound alone, it's like a saw that's sawing at your nerves. Oh boy, and I'm stuck here now. That's no good. Let me see. I cannot duck. Okay. Well, that was close. Like, there's a dissonance in the sound and in the music. And it's also a little playful, and it's testing itself. It's like testing different notes. Doesn't know where to go, but it's also there's a dark undertone there. Ocean House front door key. So she said, Therese woman said the construction couldn't go on because the people did experience strange things, right? And yeah, so this is interesting what might happen here. Man, I'm stuck again. This is no good. Never had that happen to me before. That's So yeah, about the architecture, like the Nazis, when they were a big fan of that gigantic, enormous architecture. They wanted you. This is like um, a concept of them. They wanted to make you feel small and insignificant, like you're just a small part, a cogwheel of something bigger, right? And there's also, I don't know, if you go through different cities, I mean, in Europe it's maybe different than in the US, but in Europe there you have like very old cities with very narrow streets and roads, and it kind of feels more cozy than when you're like in Berlin or something, when you have huge streets, and yeah, it makes you feel a little more small and insignificant. But not always, but I mean, if you take a minute and look around and think about it, you might get that feeling sometimes. So, that's how we get greeted here. That is, by the way, why ghosts are especially frightening, because they're kind of invulnerable, and you don't. That's the first thing, and you cannot hit them, like they're transparent, and there's not much that you can do, even as a vampire. Yeah, you're hitting air, thin air practically. And the other thing is they can materialize themselves if they want to, so they can get physical, but it all is on their terms. So this is what makes that frightening. And yeah, they're invisible and they can appear anywhere they want, at any place. And a poltergeist can also and whatever. Different ghosts have different abilities, right? So this is what I meant when the sounds and things you would normally expect kind of blend together with the paranormal stuff. You cannot discern what is what. Listen to that, the breathing sound. Is that part of the music? Is there someone actually breathing in there? And there's a lot of stuff to take in. You cannot look at this. I'm only looking at a certain part of a building. It's like you can only look at 1/3 of the whole room at once. So this also opens up the possibilities for attacks from behind. Alright. And that's why that is a really great designed level. You also have thunder. Yeah, you gotta have thunder in a spooky mansion, right? Oh yeah, by the way, Ocean House Hotel, Stephen King, anyone? Shining. So yeah, abandoned hotel. So stuff is being flung at us. So we already know we have to deal with the poltergeist here. That's the thing, by the way. What about the motivation of the ghost, right? Usually, there's also a difference between Western and Japanese or Asian, maybe. Ghosts, like that sound. Yeah, and Asian ghosts are way less. Notice that there was a moment of complete silence, by the way. There. Asian ghosts are less forgiving. They don't need a reason. They just, like the Grudge or something. They just want to kill you. They don't care if you I don't know, deal whatever made them a ghost, you know, if they had, I don't know, they were uh, slain by some evil guy or something, and you kind of take revenge. They don't care. They will fuck you up anyway. That's kind of funny. It's kind of interesting how unforgiving the Asian ghosts are. And I don't know. Maybe it's a cultural thing, but it's very interesting. They kind of go different paths and try out different paths with their horror stories. So we have seen a woman fleeing there. Those things also do damage, and this is also a combat zone, as you can see by the symbol above the health meter. So of course we find nothing. So this was the second person, and since he was carrying an axe, that would probably be a bad guy. And the woman she was warning us of that guy. So it looks like we have two different ghosts with different motivations here. One is trying to help us, and the other one is trying to get us to do whatever he wants to do. Very interesting, huh? I mean, red rooms are always they're the peak of the nastiness, of the uncanny things. Haunted house. Like in Resident Evil, there's also a red room. And I don't know, those red rooms, they signal danger. I guess. For me at least they're the most, they're usually the creepiest. There's a grandfather clock going off. There's a picture. Oh yeah, white dress, you know, ghosts, especially women as ghosts, tend to have those white flowing dresses. Like, I don't know, maybe white is the color of innocence. I don't know. There's something airy about those kind of ghosts. It's like there's also a certain aesthetic at the play. They're translucent, and I don't know. I find this very interesting, and beautiful even to some degree. So, grand opening. Santa Monica celebrates the new Ocean House Hotel. Oops, oh man, escape. Yeah, it's not much that you can read. Look at all the debris and how dirty and dusty everything is. So, there's nothing down here. Well, let's go up. Right, this is quite a shocker if you don't know what's happening and you suddenly drop down here. Let's save. And again, ominous red in the elevator. Music, or is it? A weird mixture of sounds where you don't know what is real and what not. Painted on doors, always creepy. ghostly figure. She ran into that direction. And then, yes, suddenly, real music. Creepy, spooky, Silent Hill-like music. Damn! And then that note. Child's Hotel Hell. Child's severed head found in hotel laundry room. So there were children in here. Yeah, you gotta have those doors that are opening by themselves. Or not. Food, yeah. Notice how slow that door is. Go back again here. That was the door which we could lockpick before. So, child's severed head. Right. And you're beginning to feel, I don't know, this place is quite big, and you're very, very alone here, very lonely. And stuff is happening without anybody being there. Not a severed head. This is a key labeled boiler room. Yeah, like that red light. So we can use the key here. That's and it's all red now. I mean, the funny thing is, you are a vampire. I mean, shouldn't you be like not afraid of ghosts, right? But it still works, you see? That is the power that ghosts have. Like I said, they choose the terms, the conditions under which you meet and fight, if it happens. And yeah, even if there were like normal people in previous lives, that is what makes them uncanny. This power. Like, if you had an alien or whatever with the same powers and abilities, it would be just as creepy. It's not the fact that they're human, but those powers that they can strike at any point they want to. By the way, there's one of the earliest horror stories is the Hauler, I think from LeFanu or some, I don't know, one of the old writers. And his story is basically a mixture of a vampire and ghost, which is quite interesting. And what makes it so creepy, that horror story, it's like the predecessor, one of the first vampire stories. Like Edgar Allan Poe, like that, or even older, like that era. And yeah, what makes it so creepy is the guy there, he kind of waves at a boat and Brazilian ship, and I don't know. Then he some more and more gets the feelings that someone is living with him in the same room suddenly. Things vanish, they someone is drinking his milk and using his stuff or whatever. And that is quite horrible if you think about it. If because you're basically completely powerless. There's nothing you can do. You cannot see, you don't know when and where and how. So, and this thing that nests in his room or house, it also drains his life essence in some form. Which is why it's half vampire, half ghost. Yeah, that's the beauty of horror. It's a feeling of being helpless, I guess. Experiencing that without actually experiencing it. I mean, the horror stories, if you go through it, you have the feeling, but you don't have the damage. Look at that. She's pointing at something on the desk there. What is that sound? Hey. Someone is eating something, if you ask me. Hmm, 10. No go. And so, yeah, let's see what she was pointing at. Always use it. Another body. Police say second child was chopped up like firewood. So it seems like there was a couple. If you remember The Shining, and the man like picks up an axe and goes to town, goes crazy. And yeah, like I said, if you take it out of context, like, imagine you meet that couple before all this happened. Like, maybe everything was fine, maybe not, maybe there was some abuse, domestic abuse or whatever. And yeah, obviously here the children thought not everything was fine. Like when just take a look at how they painted the dad, like fiery and evil and teeth. So maybe the whole town drove him nuts, like The Shining. Like in The Shining story. Yeah, but if you imagine you meet them before this all happens, even even before the domestic abuse, like they would be a normal couple, right? There would be nothing frightening about them. And yeah, I mean, if you use a time machine or something, go back and you can say hello and how you doing, everything is good. Upstairs key. Yeah, messages, like second-hand horror is always very effective too. Like if you only discover some footprints or whatever of something abnormal, of something which shouldn't be there, like a figure, a transparent figure at the end of the hallway. Nice way of distracting me to look there, and then that toy comes out of nowhere. So yeah, that would be a total normal couple, right? So the thing that makes them creepy is just their powers. And like this is also very creepy there. You also have in Silent Hill, you have a lot of that, a little body horror mixed in there, like or The Exorcist, when bodies bend in a way they're not supposed to, move in like spastic motions and wild flailing or whatever. Like, yeah, that's also uncanny. It's basically distorting what you know, what you're used to. You hear the sound of of people drinking down here, I guess, of the guests, and then there's nothing. Imitating, mocking the previous life that was here before. Yeah. Well, murder suicide. So now we get to find out what really happened. Ocean House killer, possibly responsible for Inferno. So he set the house on fire in the end. Red again. I find this funny that you have to use this little lift here. Where's that music coming from? And why did it suddenly stop? So we're in the kitchen now. And now they go really nuts. This is poltergeist heaven here now. And they do damage. So this is practically the worst case scenario, right? When the whole house is fighting you. And this is all that I can do. I can do nothing. This is not a fair fight. I can't just evade what's being thrown at me. I also like how when they disappear, they leave a violet, purple trace there, like ectoplasm stuff or whatever. I think it kind of looks pretty in its own way. If you look at all the colors, I mean, I don't know. I always had a fable for those like ghost things, but not in the way like this haunting, that true, you know, the part where something is hiding and is trying to get you, but more that like something is flying through the air, which shouldn't. And that's kind of interesting. It probably has seen things that you will never see, or it will have a lot to tell, I guess. But that's not the other thing. Ghosts really don't really talk like, you know, like real people. Like they sit down and say, "Hey, let's have a beer, let's have a drink, whatever." They only talk in very like this ghost did in very short sentences, like only one, two sentences. Only a warning or something. It's more like an imprint of a former being, of a real life being, and it's not a real conversation that's going there. That's taking place there, like this, and it's always like a whisper, you know, because I don't know why, but ghosts always wanna go boo. Keep looking. It's like they intentionally wanna creep you out, you know. They could say very normal random stuff that still would be creepy, but they kinda wanna maximize the fear level. There's an elevator up there. So we better hurry, huh? This thing actually one-shots you. It crushes you if you stay down there. I think it's kinda neat to build a sudden death in there. Kinda mixes up the things a little. So yeah, it's a little tricky here. This is also the contrast, like this is how the place usually looked like way more bright. Well, not the spiderweb part, of course, but the lamps and everything. Yeah. Did you see that? She was going down the hall there again. So they are roaming those rooms here. Murders unsolved. Mother or father could have been Ocean House killer. There they are. Like if you look at them here on the picture, they're perfectly normal couple, right? You can talk to them, have a beer with them, and I don't know, normal stuff. But now they're just a shell of their former selves. There's nothing left, almost, of them. Like a shadow. Wickerpork, Sissel. This petrified reed was not meant to fall into the hands of the damned, but vampires can benefit from its shamanistic magic all the same. Increase defense by 1 point, which is neat. Who left that there, I wonder. Save again, just for fun. So, most doors we cannot enter anywhere. You gotta have one of those. There's a certain creep repertoire, if you want, right? And that belongs right in there. Nice view. Who's using doors here? No one should be here. Something's not right. Damn it. I think it's the girl from the asylum, to be honest. Yeah, those things hurt if you eat too many of them. Another save. Another day, another save. Elevator again. From a different side. Oh, this looks different, right? And since we cannot go any further there, we might as well follow this room. Children crying. This is a little climbing puzzle. And yeah, it said there was a fire in there. And we can see the remains of that. And there's now the mystical ectoplasm fire, I guess. Which looks nice. I like it. But I think I should not touch it. Yeah, kind of burns like real fire. And if I hadn't said that, vampires really don't like fire. It's like the worst thing right after the sun. And I don't know. Swords, maybe. They don't like blades and bladed weapons. A good spot to save. Maybe. So, as you can see, he has the ghost, the ex-murder ghost probably, has full control more or less over this, over the house, or at least over this level here. Those pipes, those steam pipes really hurt. If you run through them, through all of them, you're almost dead then at the end of them. Alright, and we're in the normal world suddenly, are we? Maybe not. Just another glimpse, and there's even a huge gap suddenly here. We could walk over this floor before. We did, actually. So, I think... Alright, I've discovered a journal in the house. According to its contents, a jealous husband murdered his wife and family because of a locket. The murderous ghost of the husband means to keep her trapped here forever with him, and she seems to be trying to help you find a way to free her. Retrieve the pendant from the ocean has to bring to Therese as payment to go into the color of a people's time. Yeah, we didn't read the journal. Right? Yeah, I should read that. This is the shard remains of what looks like a diary. 13th April 1958, so this is a long time ago. Just arrived here at the Ocean House. We have a week-long holiday here in Santa Monica, and Ed has booked us a room for the hotel's grand opening. It's a wonderful place, almost magic. The children have been swimming all afternoon. Same year, one day later. The first 2 days have been... Hang on, really? 1 day later? Yeah. The first 2 days have been almost perfect, except that Ed can't seem to stop asking about the locket I received from my mother, which we just got. He seems to think it was sent to me by some other admirer. jealousy. Ed can be sweet, but sometimes his jealousy can get the better of him. Hopefully he'll feel better tomorrow. Um, 1st of June 1958. Sun is out today, not a cloud in the sky. Ed seems a little on edge, keeps guessing as to who my new boyfriend is. Silly Ed. So this is, we have the normal life and a little glimpse of a little on the edge, a little not so normal, a little crazy town waiting to happen, and but only a hint yet, and she's not taking him seriously. She's not considering that a danger or a threat yet. 2 days later, there was a picnic for the hotel guests this morning. By the way, this is also the setting. I think Shining was like even more abandoned than this hotel here. It was like really out there in the wild or whatever, on a hill, in the forest, whatever. I think yeah, that's why he took the job, because someone had to take care of it in the winter or something like that. There was a picnic for the hotel guests this morning. Quite a grand affair. Ed is in a dark mood, so again some foreboding, something ominous. I don't know what I can do to reassure him that he is my one and only love. But at this point, you might ask yourself, is he really? Because, I don't know, he seems like he's starting to get a little, I don't know, clingy and not so fun. The only time he seemed to brighten up was when he was speaking to the groundskeeper. Boys and their tools, yeah, what was he planning there? So this was 3-6-4-6. We only have 2 days left, and thank God we're finally going home. Ed won't speak to me or the children, and I found him more than once in the bathroom, holding the locket and staring at it. I'm afraid he suffered some sort of breakdown, so she's acknowledging the fact now that he's crazy. Or gun crazy, whatever drove him crazy. Maybe some former spirits of the house, like Shining. I've told him we can go home, but he just shakes his head. He won't look at me. I just want to go home. So go home then, leave him there. But no, we do need our story to happen, right? Ed left early this morning, and I haven't seen him since. If I haven't seen him in another hour, I'm going to call the hotel manager. Against my better wishes, Ed Jr. went to look for him downstairs in the basement. I'm going to send Tiffany down to fetch him. Wait, someone is knocking at the door. This is a little constructed, if you ask me. They like to do it to, I don't know, create some tension. But nobody does that. Nobody writes in the diary, oh, hang on, my phone. Oh, I mean, sometimes people write, but this is a little too much real time going on, you know. Someone is knocking at the door. Oh, let me open. And then you tell the guy at the door, hang on, I just need to finish those lines in my diary. What I'm doing right now. Nobody does that. Let's be real here. Oh my God, Ed covered in blood. And even this description here. Nobody would take the time to write that. Coming to kill me? Yeah, you don't write that down. You're already running away like crazy, flailing your arms and screaming for help and calling the police or whatever. But you're definitely not writing in your diary. Even if you're locking yourself in. I locked myself in the bathroom. You don't know, just know. He's gone crazy. He keeps shouting we'll be together forever, and he'll never let me go. Someone please help. Oh yeah, that's another classic, like the writing trails off at the end of the page, right? And you should have added a blood smear there at the end, like, yeah, there's blood on the page and whatever, you know. But anyway, it's still a great game, and it's still one of my favorite levels here, if not the best, actually. Everything else is really, really cool about this about this level. Really everything. All the sound effects and I mean it's a story, even if it's like copied from other stuff. Like any story has been told before anyway, right? There's not really anything new out there. It's basically a recycling of old stories, always. So with that in mind, they did a good job if you ask me. There's broken glass. We have been here before. Let me make a real save here for a change. Oops, I almost dropped. I don't even know if we can take fall damage. I don't think so. So bye bye ghosts. See you around. Any last words? I don't think so. He just keeps throwing stuff at me. You can actually avoid dropping down here and do the whole cellar bit, but it's not that easy. Both stairs break down, by the way. Yeah. So, see ya guys. Have fun. Do your thing. You do you. Spooking around. Scaring all the newcomers here. Yeah, why do have ghosts always have to scare people? That's the thing, right? It's like basically their job. What they get paid for was ectoplasm currency, I guess. So let's go back and leave. Oh, beautifully, maybe even that beautiful haunted place. Yeah, really cool level, as I said. I like it. So now we have to go back to the asylum. We didn't even spend a single drop of blood. You don't need to eat those nasty rats. Even though I don't really think rats are that nasty. Right. Before we go to the asylum, let me check. Did we get the werewolf blood, by the way? I don't know. We didn't, right? No. So we don't need to go back to our apartment yet. Yeah, so let's go to the asylum. But let's do that next time. See you around.